What's up, everybody? K Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer, talking to the intelligent gamers. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Be so kind to hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell. Let people know that I'm just starting the video, my thoughts video. Let's go. Anyway, okay. This is pretty amazing to me because I've been on board with the CMA with a lot of things, and just, of course, what they do with the UK, especially with the gambling and all of that. I'm not understanding what's going on here. I mean, obviously, the pushback towards Microsoft, big corporation buying one of the biggest publishers out there in gaming. I totally get being thorough, asking the questions, wanting Microsoft to respond back, looking out for every entity out there. I get all that. Like, I mean, that's just part of what these regulators do, right? What I'm not understanding, though. Okay, so Microsoft had to give a rebuttal. And it was kind of funny because when I seen I seen some people say, oh, now I see everybody talk about Jim Ryan crying. Well, they're going to talk about, well, they have to respond back. This is not a situation where Microsoft is crying because of a Sony purchase or anything of that nature. This is they have to respond back, because if they don't respond back, then they're going to just kind of look at it as though Microsoft doesn't have a leg to stand on after their assessment, or from what the opposite party is alleged. Then that kind of goes in the favor of Sony. So they have to respond. So it's not crying. I don't know. I don't get it. But regardless, we're looking and checking out what Tom Warren was saying, and just so many other people. Like, I mean, post up other stuff. And even when I posted something talking in regards about Spider-Man, and I didn't even know that, because I haven't read all through this stuff. I've read through some of it, not all of it. I mean, because I think it's what, 70 some pages, I believe. I don't know. It's really big. But the thing of it is that what I think what a lot of people are confused about is that the CMA usually, or just like I said, the UK, I know that they're kind of separated now and everything, but they kind of had this whole thing of like going against corporations and looking out for their community, the people. This does not look anything like that. Like, they are siding with, like, just a couple of years ago, they were against the microtransactions and saying that it was gambling and all this other stuff. But here they're over here siding with Sony as though Sony is the little guy. And so Microsoft comes out and they say, well, all right, here's our rebuttal. And so they say, you know, Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years, with its installed base of over 150 million consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox. Sony engages in conduct today, which is reflective of its market power in console gaming, including increasing prices of its consoles without fear of losing market share. Think about that. Like, that is the truth. Like, I mean, no company, if they are in fear of losing the market share, right? Now, I'm going to get to this because you know how I've stated that I feel like the tides are turning, right? I will get to that. But at this point, for what Microsoft is saying is like, look, they're throwing out 10 extra dollar games. People don't like it, but they don't have any fear of it. Okay. And that's pretty crazy, right? And of course, the PlayStation VR 2, we don't know how much that thing is going to be. I'm saying it's going to be anywhere between $4 to $5. Other people think it's going to be like $300. The way Sony has been operating here lately, I just don't see a $300. That would be a shock. That would be a major shock. But anyway, so it says it's suggesting that the incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. There are more than 4,000 games available on the PlayStation alone, right? So the evidence shows that less than half or whatever PlayStation's monthly active users are playing Call of Duty. Even without all of those gamers, a highly improbable outcome from the hypothetical foreclosure strategy, the PlayStation gamer base would remain significantly larger than Xbox is today. And the reason why that is true is because of the fact of you look at the Xbox One base compared to the PlayStation 4 base. Now, even though the Xbox Series S and X is doing very, very well and being very competitive with PlayStation 5, the Xbox One got decimated, right? So it's just a total, it's not even close at this point. It doesn't matter how big that the Xbox One do, as long as PlayStation still keeps on holding on to this. When first we're talking about like we believe in strategy. I mean, we believe in console generations and all that stuff, and then they reverted back to now like they're going to, for the foreseeable future, that they're going to keep going and allowing games to be transferred over to the PlayStation 4. Then that's quadrupled than what most likely than what Xbox has altogether between the Xbox One and the Series and Series X and S, right? So, which is, I think, is a valid point. It says also, he says, since this transaction was announced, Sony has acquired several game studios, including Bungie, developer of the popular online game Destiny 2, Haven Studios, how you say that? Lagarde, I ain't gonna even say it. And Savage Games, and a majority interest in, among other hit games. You have Sony existing minority shareholding in Epic Games, publisher of Fortnite, strong first-party game catalog, extensive portfolio of exclusive arrangements with third-party publishers. There are over 280 exclusive first and third-party titles on PlayStation in 2021, nearly 5 times as many as Xbox. Bro, I didn't even know it was that many games. 280 games. Now, of course, they say first-party. So let's just even cut that in half. You know what I'm saying? I actually would think that the third-party deals would be probably even more than half, right? So if you got that many games held back on one platform and they're the market leader, how is it? And I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Look, I see some of these stands out here trying to defend what the CMA is saying, but this is asinine. Absolutely asinine. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. I'm gonna try to find you guys. Where are y'all at? Hold on. I'm trying to find you. Here we go. All right, there we go. I see some of these stands out here. Oh, and I hear myself. Okay. Oh, I do. I sound good. Thank you for the mic. Oh, sounds so clear. Anyway, hello. What's going on? Only Xbox. Only on Xbox. What's happening, guys? I'm sorry. I was over here reading this stuff while I was going to this. Oh, you know what I'm saying? He says, leave Sony alone, bro. I can't leave him alone. I'm obsessed. Anyway, what's up, Shed Rock? You know what I'm saying? Try hard fan. You know what I'm saying? Listen, he says, I'm hoping all of this CMA acquisition stuff becomes history soon. I do too. What's up, Post Up? You say 280 is about 55. Bro, you know what I'm saying? To about 50. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there is so many more games that they got through third party. Like, bro. And so I brought up a point and I said something about Spider-Man, and I didn't even know that was included into the, and I had to reset, which I hated because I lost it. Let me see if I could try to find it again, because I had to reset my PC. But anyway, well, before I go find that, let me read what Post Up posted, right? Like, Post Up posted a whole bunch of stuff, right? And like he said, ain't no way, boy. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way. Tell me this is a prank. Someone please tell me Sony didn't submit this to the CMA. He said the hypocrisy. Bro, listen. Okay, so let me move this over here. Let me see if I can, yep, here we go. All right. So basically, what Sony is doing, he says third-party views also covered the merger entity's ability to engage in partial foreclosure strategies. Sony to the estimates that even if COD games remain available on PlayStation following the merger entity would still be able to engage in partial foreclosure by increasing the differentiation between the versions of COD available on Xbox and on PlayStation. According to Sony, gamers may expect that COD on Xbox will include extra content and enhanced proprieties or whatever the hell that word is with the console hardware, in addition to any benefit from membership of Game Pass. Sony submitted that these factors are likely to influence gamers' choice of console. Listen. Now I don't know what that one word may mean. Like, so let me be country. What is that? Intro propriety or ability, whatever that word is right there. I don't know what that word is because I can't say it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dyslexia. But all I know is what I see from this is that they're saying, look, man, Game Pass and COD alone is going to break us. COD leaving this console and going over to the competition is going to break us. Man. Now let me go back and hit this again. Okay. Let's go back to that again, right? Now remember what this posted, right? Like that's what they said, what Sony said to the CMA. And let's go right back to this. He said there are over 280 exclusive first-party and third-party titles on PlayStation in 2021. Nearly 5 times as many as on Xbox. And let's not forget about the stuff that they picked up, like Bungie. Hold on, wait a minute. Destiny 2. Now, listen, I know that Sony had to make some kind of noise because there was a lot of PlayStation gamers out there really, really getting cranky about the fact that Microsoft is doing all these acquisitions, and these acquisitions is causing a lot of splashes, right? So Sony had to do something, right? They know that they have to start getting into the online gaming aspect. They've been doing this probably a few years before they dropped their new console. They knew this, right? But they thought that they could kind of scapegoat around, hee-haw around a little bit, try to sit there and like, we could kind of slowly integrate to try to get our fan base to start getting into online gaming again, or ever for some. But because of the pushback of what Microsoft has been doing, they had to hurry up and do something. That's why a lot of people looked at the Bungie deal like, damn, you paid Bungie this much and you gave them concessions pretty much now to they can just put their games can be put on everything, and that's damn sure not the Sony's way. I guarantee you, after so many titles, Sony's gonna get into Bungie and say, look, we're gonna have to have some stuff that's gonna be exclusive on our platform only and PC. That's it. And Bungie is gonna have to comply, because if Bungie's gonna ask for gonna have a budget for some kind of new title, online title that they're gonna be working on. Not this new game that they're working on that they have been working on, but the title after that. I'm pretty sure Sony's going to put the hammer down and say, look, no, we want this to be here. We want this to stay here and here only. There and then of course they're going to have their whole mobile thing and all that stuff going by that point, right? So that was actually really weird. But Destiny 2 is massive. As much as I don't have a problem with the game itself. The community is kind of weird because you try to get into it, but if you're not knowledgeable about certain things and you try to get something, I don't know. The Destiny community is very strange to me, but the game itself is great, right? And it's massive. Yeah, that's right. Hit that like button and share it out. Thank you, Sir X-Man. What'd you say? You say operability. Is that how I said? Interoperability? Okay. If I said that right, let me know. If not, let me be country. Like I said, I don't even know what that word means. I've never seen that word in my life. And I went to college. Goddamn. But regardless. Anyway, the situation with this is that I understand that COD is a big game. Like I made the point about Spider-Man, and here the first thing people are bringing up is, oh, well, COD is bigger than anything and everything, and it's bigger than Spider-Man. It's bigger than Spider-Man as a game, but it's not bigger than Spider-Man as an overall entity. It's just not. It's not. It's not. And that's the reason why Sony has the leverage, which is also another thing why I was like, Microsoft should throw that out there. And they did. But this is the leverage that Sony has over over Disney and MCU, because of the fact they have the rights to the movie rights. And MCU knew, look, man, people want to see Spider-Man. Spider-Man is globally popular, more popular than COD will ever be. But of course, the people just want to pinpoint, no, it's just about the games. No. This all stems to the reason why Sony has got that game to be exclusive, because because of the fact of the movie rights. Because they were trying to Disney was trying to get those movie rights back from Sony, but Sony knows that they got so much leverage. And then on top of that, they say, look, we're going to have to make this deal sweeter. You got to give us some other Marvel properties. How about Wolverine? Who else are they going to ask? They probably might ask for Daredevil or something, or maybe Deadpool or something. Who knows what Sony could do now with that leverage? That to me is business. I'm not saying that is wrong. I'm just saying it's business. And why the CMA don't look at that as a whole, and their comeback was it almost seemed like, and I got to find that comeback. That's what I'm trying to find. I got to find that comeback, because I did not know that Microsoft did bring up Spider-Man, but what CMA's response was sounded like it came right from a Sony's representatives, like out of their word, like they had a Sony representative right there to tell them what to type. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And Tryhard Fan, you said very few games can stand up to COD. You're right. But you know what the thing of it is about those few games? All of those few games are online shooters. Fortnite, Apex, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the list goes on. I mean, there's other games out there. Well, you got Minecraft, which that's a Microsoft property. You know what I'm saying? Battlefield, if Battlefield had their shit together, right? If Battlefield 2042 had their shit together, came out like what people were expecting with Battlefield 2042, Battlefield would have sold probably around the same amount that Vanguard did. If not, okay, but it would have been very close. And there was no possible way that COD should have beat that COD in 2013 should have beat Battlefield 4. That's EA's fault. That's bad management. That's for you forcing this game to come out to be as broken as it was. Because that is still remaining to be one of the best shooters. Battlefield 4 is one of the best shooters you will ever play, ever. And then you got also, now the second Titanfall didn't do very well because they tried to make it play like Call of Duty instead of making it like what the first game was. But if Titanfall was came every 2 years or every year, Titanfall would be up there. Titanfall has a following. It would have kept growing and progressing. The one thing that I think the Titanfall 2 had the biggest problem with is that they kept on bragging to PlayStation, catering to them, trying to get their audience instead of them just staying even kill and just saying, look, man, the game is multi-plat. This is how the deals work. This is it. But trying to do the green disc and the blue disc shit, nah, Xbox gamers were not having it. And then when they eventually started buying, the game was like, what, $6, $7, $8? And then, of course, bad management again. You put a new title that's going to be a multi-plat up against COD, up against Battlefield, and then up against Battlefront. And let's not forget about Battlefront, how successful Battlefront was. The only thing that, and again, management again, Battlefront got the issues because of the microtransactions, because EA got too goddamn greedy. The first Battlefront crushed. So there's plenty of competition. And there's so many other games out there that I haven't even mentioned. I mean, look at it's a strategy shooter out there, Rainbow Six. That's doing really big numbers. So again, for CMA not to really look and evaluate properly is insane. Also, another thing that they did, that they posted, which was crazy as hell, was they didn't even have the right years for and they spoke up for as though Game Pass was the very first service that came into gaming. And that's crazy, because unless you lived on a rock or you just now got into gaming, it was PlayStation Now that came out. I was playing the beta on PlayStation Now in 2013. And then and then it lasted, I think, until somewhere around 2014, and then it changed out and then became public. And then that's when I was telling people back then, that's when I kind of first started talking around, getting into, I think I did maybe 1 or 2 podcasts at that time. I wasn't really into it like that. I just was getting started. But I was making a point of like the thing that was hurting it was because of their high prices. You could go get Final Fantasy X because that was one of the games that I tried to play. Because and it was awful because it, the online was just it was just too laggy. It felt horrible. But the game was like 40 to $50, and I could go to GameStop and get that game for $8. So that was what's really crazy. But anyway, Poe said I'm over 100 on Battlefield 4, like 140. Bro, Battlefield 4 is one of the best shooters that's ever been made. EA just they keep shooting themselves in the foot with that franchise. Every time Battlefield 1 was fantastic, but it's just the fact of it, the weapons just didn't resonate. Like there just wasn't enough weapon. Battlefield 5 was good, but I don't know what the whole thing about because the advertising wasn't anything like what the story, what the game was about. And then I guess that's when the very first so-called woke culture, which people don't even know what the hell woke really means. That's just some kind of bullshit that just came out of nowhere and just turned into whatever woke is supposed to be now. But that's not officially what woke means. But anyway, whatever. But that was one of those things that made the game not resonate well. And of course, it had a slow start. Didn't sell very well, but the game was still good. It was, because I buy every Battlefield. And then of course, 2024 or 2042, we know how that situation is. It's a lot better now. I'm going to get back to playing it. I was trying to get my refund. I didn't, but now I'm actually kind of like, okay, cool. The game is getting back to the way it's supposed to be. But still, we're talking about a year later. And when COD was actually, a lot of people were like, man, I'm tired of World War II. Vanguard, I heard the zombies are really good on Vanguard, but other than that, like Vanguard is okay. Another missed opportunity. But there was no way that Battlefield 4 should have not outsold Ghosts. Ghost story was good, but that multiplayer was ass cheeks. It was terrible. And then what you were saying about trial, you said Destiny 2 had a weak start. If I recall, no, no, it was Destiny 1 that had a weak start. Destiny 1 kicked off, and then people realized that the game was because when we played the demo or we didn't call it demo, but when we played the beta or whatever it was called when it first came out, I remember me and my son was like, "Oh man, this game is going to be amazing. This game already looks good. I can't wait to play the full version." Well, that was the full version, and that was, I think, the first time I kind of seen like, "Oh, this is how they're going to do us." And so Destiny 1, it sold well because a lot of people was anticipating for it to be something that it wasn't. And then it kind of faded off until I believe that the middle to the last DLC came out and it blew up. And at that time, I just kind of, I didn't care. I stopped playing it. And then when Destiny 2 came out, it blew up. And then it was doing fantastic. And then, it goes up and down. But as long as the content kept coming, people kept coming back. So no, Destiny 2 is very popular. Of course, you got the Division. You know what I'm saying? The Division 1, that was everything to me. But I beat it. I did damn near everything I could possibly do. And then it just there was no content. And so then they actually added content, 2 years later? The game is already, there's people that came back. I went back, but it wasn't the same. So when Destiny 2 dropped, Destiny 2 was fire. But again, you know what I'm saying? That's another shooter out there. See, PlayStation can make deals they can make deals with multiple shooters out there outside of COD to combat. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that what Post Up posted is that they're basically saying that, look, if COD should be on everything or nothing at all. Pretty much. And that doesn't make any sense. It's many advantages. It's like I said, I'm going to hit this again. 280 exclusive first and third party titles on PlayStation. That was in 2021. You know that's going to be about the same amount going into next. It's going to be hell, even more going into in the next couple of years. Because what all else Sony has got coming available. Now, I know that they're going to have Spider-Man 2 most likely, and then maybe 1 or 2 other titles that we know of. or that we've heard of. But if they're going through another moment of where their first party is going to be a little sparse, what they're going to do is do what they've always done, rely on that third party exclusive stuff. I mean, and so that to me, that's one of those things where it's like, it's business, it's not a big deal, but come on. The CMA, the pushback is, if there was just pushback of saying, look, we just want to, we want to make sure that our, you know what I'm saying, our community, the people that we represent are getting value, are that is not getting hustled over. That, like, you know, Microsoft, you're not going to sit here and drop up prices to $80 for the game and then raise up your prices to Game Pass and then do all this once this game becomes exclusive to Xbox. I can see all that. That makes perfect sense, you know. But again, this is not about the people. This is about a corporation, a huge corporation. At that. And then for them to not know, when did EA Access at the time, which is EA Play Now, come out in 2014? PlayStation Now came in 2014. They just went straight to Xbox, which came out in 2017, Game Pass, and then listed everything else. And then at the end said that Game Pass, that PlayStation is just now starting their service. Come on, man. Come on. Right. You're right, Try Hard fan. Like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was opposing to the point of just saying, like, because I don't want to hear this excuse. I've seen what Rap was saying, and other people were basically, well, Spider-Man wasn't a big part. Spider-Man has been around since the NES, and they've had big budgeted titles. You know what I'm saying? They it's been up and down, up and down, up and down. And then when they realized that they couldn't sustain or wanted to sustain, then that's when they was trying to sell to Microsoft. And then they even had to push back from the stands is telling me that, well, Microsoft had the opportunity to buy EA. I mean, not EA, but Spider-Man. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, what does that got to do with anything? I mean, I'm pretty sure that Sony had plenty of opportunities to buy other publishers, or buy a publisher or a studio or something of that effect, and they choose not to. Or they may have had something that they let go, and that's something that became very successful later down the line. What's going on? Sir X-Man, he says if ABK fails, no more Minecraft for PlayStation. No. See, this is basically what this is about to be. Now, look, I'm not Hugh Law, because that man's an attorney, and then other people out there, so I'm not going to try to talk out of my pay grade. But from my understanding, it's basically, this stuff is going to get taken to court. If because it's not official yet, but already from what the CMA is pushing back against Microsoft and standing for the corporation, you know what I'm saying, standing up for Sony, as though Sony is a small entity or something, like a mom and pop store. When that comes out, and then Sony is over here going to say, I mean, not Sony, but the CMA comes out and say, well, there has to be a concession. Because I really just can't see from the business side of it, right, that they would say, no, this deal can't go through. Because if the CMA does that, this is not only going to affect that whole Microsoft Activision deal going forward, because I mean, it still has to be other countries that got to side with the CMA in the UK, if the UK decides, because the UK is different from the CMA right now, right? But let's just say that the UK and the CMA coincide and work together, and they say the worst case scenario, that we don't approve this deal, right? Then they have to go to court. And let's just say that other countries, let's just say that overall more countries side with Microsoft's deal and say it is, then it is. Because I don't know how many countries it's going to be, but overall. But let's just say that there's more countries that say, look, we approve this deal. And then when the deal, and then what that's going to do is go to court. Microsoft has tons of money. Now, I don't know that there's tons of money that they don't want to let go, but then it also hurts it also hurt the people out there. Because if it comes like, and I don't know, Microsoft can still try to be decent about it or whatever, because that the deal between Sony and COD or whatever is still held in place, or going to be held in place for a few years. That Microsoft would continue to let that game to be put out there on PlayStation in that region for however long this situation gets passed. But Microsoft could definitely be assholes about it and say, nah, man, since you want to sit there and stop business and stop us from progressing, it ain't going to be out there. We're not going to put COD out there, because every other country sided with us, except for a few countries. We got the majority of that. We'll just take this and fight this in court. And like I said, at the end of the day, if there's some kind of crazy situation, which I just don't even see it being possible, but let's just say, like I said, worst case scenario, that this deal doesn't go through at all, this could affect every other business transaction going forward other than gaming. Because if the CMA has got that much power to try to force companies from purchasing other companies that wants to be acquired, this is going to be a shit show. And of course, let's just look at what Sony does, right? Let's just say that deal between Square Enix and Sony is about to happen, and let's just say that has to go through regulators. Would Microsoft go and play the role of Sony and start crying and saying that this is what's going to happen to us, and we'll have a more legitimate reason because of the fact that, you know what I'm saying, they aren't as big as PlayStation. They aren't as big as Nintendo at this point. So if the CMA would reject that, then let's just say that they're still in court over the Call of Duty deal. Then that would right there change the whole dynamic of everything, and the CMA would look like it's caught up in favoritism, and they would most likely lose. So I mean, but like I said, I don't see it not happening because of the fact of what you're saying, Fahim. They're mega corporations. They'll just like, look, man, until we can do something, we'll just probably keep it off of there. Maybe the CMA might try to, the CMA, and if the UK side with them, and maybe whatever, if another country do side with them, they might just say, well, look, we'll just keep this shit off because it's caught up into litigation, and that we just can't put these games out here. And who you think that's going to hurt? It's going to hurt the gamers, because the CMA is going to side with a corporation. See, again, people will probably say, well, because you like the Brazil thing, because, they were sided with Xbox. It's not even about that. It's about what they said. We're not here to work for a corporation. We're here to see what our customers can get with value. That's what this is all about. And for what the CMA is saying is that, look, I mean, Game Pass could change this whole dynamic and make Microsoft jump up and become a viable threat to PlayStation, which anybody in their right mind knows that could definitely be the case. That's the reason why I go back to what I was saying earlier, was saying, look, what I've said before, like, once this deal goes through, Sony's time is almost up. That's what, and then again, you got to look at this too. Even if you're a diehard PlayStation fan, you have to look at this from two different perspectives. Damn, Sony's looking scared as hell about this. Yes, it's also being smart in the sense of wanting to try to throw a monkey wrench into this deal, but it also shows how Sony is very vulnerable in this situation, and they know that they're not going to be able. If Microsoft keeps doing this, then they're going to get what Sony did to everyone else back in the 90s. That's exactly what Sony is seeing. They're seeing a situation happen where, when Sony first came into the gaming space, they were the big dog. They had all the money. They knew what they wanted. They kept content off of other platforms. And they're looking at Microsoft and saying, damn, this is what we used to do. This is what we still do. No, I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it. I'm going to keep saying it because, even, like I said, if the deal don't go through, right? Like I said, worst case scenario, Microsoft has $70 billion to play with. And if you to think that okay, listen, and then what's the sad thing about this is that Activision could fold. There's a reason why Activision wanted to get bought. There's a serious situation. Just look at the Overwatch situation. Look at all the years of COD being, you know what I'm saying? When you get the DSIC issues, all the man, like the online issues within if you think about COD being played on the Azure servers and how good and smooth that would be. If Sony was the ones that own Azure or something or whatever Sony would own, if they marketed PlayStation Now and own a server farms across the world, and they would do this, I'm like, well, look at the benefit of what Sony would do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, look, business is business. I'm paying money to these corporations for the stuff that they provide. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm, in the sense of it, it's like, I don't care either way. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than what I said about Spider-Man. This is business. Spider-Man is exclusive. Sony had the leverage because of the movie rights, and they got what they wanted. I'm not tripping about it, but it should be addressed. And then once it was addressed, they came back and said something. The CMA sided with Sony, which is a contradiction to everything that they're saying about this whole situation, this Activision deal with COD. Sir X-Man, he says, if the deal fails, Activision can go exclusive to Xbox. That was another thing that I was going to say, right? Is that Microsoft can go ahead and make deals to pick up what they want and choose, and then unless somebody like Tencent or Embracer Group or some other entity out there, because of course Saudi Arabia has been saying that they wanted to get into the gaming space, they wanted to buy some publishers. Sega said something like that. I don't know if Sega got that type of money or not, but regardless, Activision will definitely be on the market. Now they could sit there and work the deal the way, look, Call of Duty can just come to Xbox. We ain't got to worry about all of Activision. And then what will be excused then? Because that's what this is all over one game. So with Microsoft having $70 billion worth of money, it's not going to be the old Microsoft of what we've seen, whether it's, well, darn it, guys, we did our best. Oh, no, not the way the Saudi leaned back on their ass. No. Not the way he leaned back and said, let us have competition. Not the way the Phil is not as soft as what people think. No. It would be, like I said before, it would be a problem. It would be definitely a problem. You said if this doesn't hurt Sony's chances of making great games and becoming successful, it shouldn't be too much of a big deal. I understand them not wanting to lose money. More money though. Listen, Sony is being looked at as more of a Sony to back in the days, since, like I said, I've been doing it I've been a person that's been buying PlayStations from the very beginning and Sony products and stuff like that from the very beginning. We'll talk about the gaming console and all the peripherals and stuff. Like I said, there's only like 3 or 4 things that I've not bought from PlayStation. But Sony was all about the innovation. And was it as substantial as what Microsoft has done or what maybe Nintendo has done? No. But they still were innovating. Sony doesn't innovate like that no more. Sony is doing like what you just see right here. 280 exclusives, first and third party titles. They're spending most of their money to keep games off of other platforms. That's where their money going to. So if COD goes over there, becomes exclusive, then Sony has to sit there and put some of that money, cut back on some of that money, and put it back into being innovators again. That's what they have to do. You know what I'm saying? It's all about competition, right? It's all about them wanting to compete. But no, I've never seen anything like this per se, because I'm pretty sure that this has happened somewhere in some kind of business forum at some point in time in history. But as me watching this, I've never seen a corporation that's number one pretending to be like they're number 3 or that they're in last place and that they're hemorrhaging money and about to fold over. I just can't believe it. It's all about how you manage and how you do things. There was a little video store that I used to call Video Haven. When in video, and I told that kind of story a little bit about, like, I used to go up there and stuff like that, and they had the Betamaxes and everything like that, right? So that tells you how long ago that was. Well, that store lasted for a good long time. I was in junior high, about to go to high school before they folded. But even when they weren't as strong as they used to be, Blockbuster, of course, came across the street. Then Hollywood Video came across the street from there, and Video Haven still stood strong for about a good another 10, 12 years until they couldn't compete anymore. And they had like little advantages. If you go into a video store, they used to, like the mom and pop stores, they used to have like they had the Betamax movies in one area, and then like they may have the XXX movies, and they would always have it closed with a curtain and stuff like that or whatever. And I remember when I would take my bike and go get me a game, or I'd go get a movie or something. Not a XXX movie. I was like 12, 13 years old. But I would also go to Blockbuster, right? And this is before Hollywood Video came into the scene. Because if they didn't have the game that I was looking for at Video Haven, I would go to Blockbuster because it was right across the street. So I would go there, and then sure enough, like Blockbuster never had a XXX thing right there. But of course, I guess because people were like, because Video Haven was still doing so well, they added a XXX, and they had their room, and it was all closed off with doors, and they had a special lighting and stuff. I never went in there, of course. I was a kid. You couldn't go in there. But I remember I was telling my mom that, and she was like, "What are you doing? What you know about XXX movies, whatever?" But I was just thinking that whole situation was like, well, damn, I didn't really understand it. But I understand it now. It's like, look, they're like, we're trying to close out this little store so we can get these people out of here to come to our establishment. So they would do anything and everything. They'd probably have people from the store go over there and check it out and pretend like they're gonna rent some movies or something like that, and all this other stuff, trying to figure out what are they doing to still stay sustain until they figured out what it was, and then they just completely just crushed that little store. And then of course here comes Hollywood Video, and then they're done. They got to close up shop. And it was so sad, the last couple of days of it is that they couldn't get those new movies that Blockbuster could, or Hollywood could. They was trying, and they couldn't have as many. And then it just fell apart. Sony is trying to act like that they're the Video Haven, and they're up against the big Blockbuster right here. Now, even though in a situation of money, yeah, I get it, but Sony's $1 billion corporation, bro. They're number one. They've been in top for 20 plus years. They have had a strategy to crush the competition ever since, and they almost tried to crush Microsoft. They almost had them. They almost had Xbox. They almost had them, especially last gen. They almost had their ass. But now Xbox is fighting back, and Sony can't sustain or make the same type of purchases that Microsoft can. And so now they're crying. And I can't believe the CMA is following this. I can't. You're right, John Wolf. That's exactly what it is. What you're saying over here, saying, so I got to read what Fahim saying, because he's got a rep for Sony for some reason. It says, "Why is my name always in your mouth?" You must be talking to somebody else. I'm like, what? Oh, y'all having some online beef. You saying, okay, so only on Xbox says, why is Xbox? Oh, y'all going at it. Okay, I'll let y'all just do what y'all think on there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna read what John Wolf said. He said, Jim don't want to offer their players XXX content. Jim don't want to compete, or better yet, lacks the knowledge to know how to compete. I won't say that, because I mean, look, this is a new form of competition. This is kind of like almost guerrilla warfare in a sense, right? Like, so what if we look soft in this situation? If we can get this deal to not happen, or to get concessions to where COD is still on our platform, even after this company is bought paid for this for this publisher, we still get what we want. At the end of the day, Sony went and look, and for any stand that goes out and brags about that, I mean, by all rights, and you can't be mad at him because I mean, right there, Jim Ryan is out hustled everybody. You can call him soft, you can call him dumb, but if that crazy situation would happen, I mean, it would be a travesty. And like I said, it would affect all of the gaming market right then and there because, like I said, Saudi Arabia is getting in. What's going to happen with Tencent? What's going to happen with the Embracer Group? What's going to happen with any other situation where if Sony doesn't like that situation, they could just go to the CMA and stop it? What if Nintendo wants to get platinum? Because it almost seems like when I was reading something from yesterday, platinum. I know that there was a Nintendo representative going over there, taking over there, but they're saying that the relationship between Nintendo and Platinum is going to get stronger. I think that now I see where Platinum is probably most likely going to get picked up by, and that's probably Nintendo. So what if because Sony, they work with Platinum, and if Sony doesn't like that, what could Sony interfere with that? Like, I mean, maybe not because of the sense it's a studio, but I don't understand this. That's why this is so bonkers to me. There is no reason. And people might say, hey, Mega, you sound like you crying. No, I'm just not understanding how a company, I mean, how a regulator, if you have regulators that's looking out for their people's interest, how is it that you're going to have a company that's the biggest company or that has the market share dictate competition? I just don't understand it. I mean, that's why this blows my mind. I don't get it. Let me go ahead and read a couple of more things and then we go ahead and get out of here because I know I go way long sometimes. But yeah, no, I just hold on. Let's go read some other stuff, right? Because I am having fun reading. Oh, let's go to what I'm saying. Okay. Matter of fact, okay, I found it. Okay, so here's my little thing right here. I posted it, and of course, Brap was over here. See, this is the thing that cracks me up about Brap, right? Like he tries so hard to be this even keel type of dude, but he's a Sony guy. Why don't you just be what you are? And there's no problem with it. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has a preference, and that's fine. But don't try to come out and make this out to be, because I had to point that out to him. Anything else that he said afterwards, I didn't even get to read because I was over here prepping to do this video. But anything else that you said after that really is null and void because of the fact that you're saying that what Brazil said, what Saudi Arabia said, and let's say that Chile, because that's the other country that I think that popped up that's next on board. They all side with what Brazil said, right? Well, because of course Saudi Arabia already did, right? They were the first one. And let's say that those three was right there, but you're saying because the CMA is saying what you like, everything else is not in void. Come on, man, stop it. Anyway, but let me go ahead and read. Let's just stop. Oh, here we go. I should have known. Every time that I say something, this man got to come in there in the chat and say something wild. As long as it ain't done with doing no math, this might come a little bit coherent. Let's go. All right, so he says Microsoft was supposed to do a Spider-Man or a Wolverine. They denied it, and Sony picked it up. Let's stop making excuses for Xbox. What the hell does that have to do with what the point I'm saying? Which, let's go back to what I said. Microsoft needs to ask the CMA what's their feelings about Spider-Man and Wolverine game only being exclusive to PlayStation. Let's read that again. What? My wife coming here like, what the hell is going on here? Microsoft needs to ask the CMA what's their feelings about Spider-Man and Wolverine games only being exclusive on PlayStation. What the hell? And they're like, look, like I said, and if you scroll down, if I scroll down, there will be about 15, 20 other people that will say the same exact thing. They are so much like a cult. They got a hive mind. They say the same shit. They just say the same things, right? First off, Microsoft, the CEO of Microsoft was not there. Phil Spencer wasn't involved. He was there, but he wasn't in charge to make any decisions. What? And how long? We don't even know how long ago that could have been during the 360 era. We don't know when that was. It was supposed to be. It's rumored between 2013 to 2014, somewhere around there. It could have been even earlier than that. And I believe that the story is true, but it's just like what somebody else was saying. Like, is this? I mean, is this even true? I'm pretty sure it was, but that was a different Microsoft than what it is today. Is a different Xbox than what it was back then. So I don't know. Okay, so here we go. I found it. All right, so it says the CMA. So it's talking about the Spider-Man thing because I didn't know that this was. And it says the CMA says that PlayStation's success is not driven primarily in its technical superiority, as Microsoft suggested. Gaming content is an important driver of demand, and PlayStation's competitive position could be materially harmed if COD were not available or not available to equal terms on the console post-merger wish list. Microsoft admitted that PlayStation itself has some exclusive franchise, such as Spider-Man. The CMA believes that these do not come close to having COD's level of success. The CMA noted that one of the reasons of the lack of COD's availability on Nintendo, suggested by the parties, is because of Nintendo Switch is not technically probably console is not advanced enough or whatever. But this is the thing that's crazy about that, right? Because we all know that there's going to be a new Nintendo console, most likely the Switch 2 or whatever that they're going to call it. You know, Nintendo's going to call it some kind of crazy ass name, right? But that will be comparable to put COD on it. And you can put a COD on a Switch through the cloud. You absolutely can. And guarantee you Microsoft is going to sit there and put COD on Nintendo. They're definitely going to do that. So again, I don't know. He says it's okay with Sony that people choose PlayStation 5 over Xbox because they have COD exclusive content and marketing. But the other way around wouldn't be fair. Makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, the CMA is not making sense on this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've sided with, here, what is this? It says Microsoft still decides not to ask Marvel for any other game licenses. They could make a Punisher game. They're making, most likely, I think they're going to be making The Mandalorian. And they're also going to do Indiana Jones, but you forgot about that. Like, I do gotta find where that one guy came at me, and I was like, bro, there's my boy John Wolf. I'm like, what's good? Yeah, my boy Wizzy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He was. I am throwing that rat venom today. Well, oh yeah, here we go. Where this? Sometimes you just need to stop when you're ahead, right? Dude, Sony devs making them games from the ground up. I gotta hit a sound. I gotta hit my sound bar for that. Oh my goodness. Okay. If you're going to say that, right? Like, and I told him that, right? Like, I made that point. If you're going to say that, then you need to I know your history. First off, Insomniac just got purchased by Sony not too long ago. Now, they've had relations with Sony forever, but they got picked up by how was that ground up? Sony ain't never made a game with a company that they bought from scratch. They seen the opportunity with getting Insomniac. They picked them up. Okay, it's business. Ain't nobody tripping about that. Insomniac is a great studio. And they did a great job with Spider-Man. I have no problems with it. But the fact that you say that, what are you doing? What up, neighborhood blue shell? Prepare for your tax money to be spent on fruitless. Yes, bro. Thank you. That's exactly right. You know what I'm saying? Because if the CMA keeps on pushing, and let's say that the UK follows this, that's definitely going to go to court. And we could have our Now let me see what he said back, because I did. He said, of course, I know Sony bought the studio, and then in the studio create the game. Who else was gonna make Spider-Man and Wolverine? Definitely not Microsoft. they dev. I guess he's supposed to say. I guess he said their devs don't know how you bots something else. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So anyway, I get what he's saying, right? Like, just let's just say that he's speaking and it's just not registering right. But like I told him, I said, what I'm saying, you're not making any sense. You lack gaming history badly and may need to fall back before clapping them jaws. You know what I'm saying? There have been Spider-Man games since the NES, and Insomniac didn't make any of those games until 2018. What are you talking about? Like, this is what trips me out about it. Like I said, like, I can just go through and there'll be more and more and more and more. At the end of the day, it just doesn't make any damn sense about the CMA and what they're doing with this pushback against, like I said, if it's with Microsoft being want to charge more money to certain regions, or if they want to do something that want to apply something that hasn't been in COD before, that's enhanced microtransactions or pay to win features or something like that. But no, the thing that is the biggest problem for them is saying Game Pass, because Game Pass will hurt. It's COD and Game Pass, and because that will hurt Sony's pockets. I don't know. I don't know. But guys, please, for the people who listen for this later on, please let me know what you think. Do you agree with what the CMA is saying? Is this something that you feel that is BS, like I feel, or are you kind of indifferent? And I know there's other people that saying I kind of want this to be over with, but if this keeps on progressing, right, this is going to be a long ass battle, and Microsoft is not going to just relinquish and just fold up the tent just to say, well, this is over. I think that they knew that there was going to be some hurdles. That's why they said of March, April, of the summer of next year, most likely when the deal is done. But I just can't believe this, man. I cannot believe that people are going that crazy about this. Let me see if there's anything else that need to be said before I go. Let's see. You know what I'm saying? You can check out Tom Warren, man. He makes some good stuff. Let's see. Oh, he's back on it again. So obviously, okay. What does this say? It says Microsoft says Sony has chosen to block Game Pass from PlayStation, which is absolutely true, and that it has elected to protect its revenues from sales of newly released games, rather than offer gamers the choice of accessing them via its subscription, PlayStation Plus. All a response to UK CMA. Like, yeah. Nor is this the basis for the idea that acquiring Call of Duty could tip subscription services in Xbox favor. Sony has chosen to block them. I mean, that is absolutely true. Sony has chosen this. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is another thing too. Now, this is the little sly shit that Microsoft is doing on their end, saying, look, hey man, we wouldn't put Game Pass on PlayStation. We would put Game Pass on Nintendo. We have no problem with that. Of course, we would like to put our games on everything. We'd like to put it on everything. The day that Sony would sit, that's why I cracked up when the stands were always saying, "Oh yeah, I'll take Game Pass." Microsoft would love you, because we all know what the PlayStation fan would want. They would want that value as well. And then let's say that Microsoft throw a little bit of that spice over there. Hey, if you play our Game Pass games, we welcome you into our rewards program. You don't have to pay $70 for any of these upcoming games that comes up. You can sit there and buy these games here, or you could just play them on Game Pass. You'll have a good time. That's it. Sony would be gone. Sony be done. That's like one of them bugs that jump on another bug and then like sting them, and then like put their babies in them and shit, and then they get inside out. That's what Game Pass would do if they would ever allow Game Pass to come in there. But we know that Sony is too smart for that. But it's funny because the stands was bragging about that, which was pretty funny. But yeah, you're right, Michael Turner. PlayStation's history says it all, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It says all games are available on Game Pass, are also available to purchase. PlayStation gamers continue to have the ability to buy Call of Duty on PlayStation, and doing so will still cost less than the cost of switching by buying a new Xbox console. Like, Xbox is trying so much to try to, I know, sweeten the pot, sweeten the deal, but how is it that the CMA is still trying to say that this isn't beneficial for the gamers on PlayStation or just for gaming in general? You know what I'm saying? Also, this point says that Xbox plans to bring Activision Blizzard content to its multi-game subscription. Game Pass, this will affect gamers, boosting the value of the subscription and expanding access to Activision Blizzard's content. Activision Blizzard has not allowed its content to be included in third-party subscriptions by any meaningful way in the past. And again, this increases competition, has not been welcomed by the market leader Sony, which has elected to protect its revenues from sales, you know what I'm saying, of newly released games, rather than offer gamers the choice of accessing them via its subscription from PlayStation Plus. I mean, it's right there. And then, like I said, the CMA is just still, I don't know, man. We got until November 8th to find out what the CMA is officially going to do, and I believe the UK as well. Or maybe the UK might have a little bit longer. I don't know, but I know November 8th is a date where one of these regulators will make their determination. I hope it's posturing. I hope it's just that they're just talking to make some of their PlayStation or Sony friends feel that they can take that type of rhetoric over to the next country to try to stop it. But at the end of the day, realize that if they interfere too much, that they're going to change. They're going to really put people in a pickle over this situation, and then there's a lot of litigation. And like you said, there's going to be tax dollars that's going to be paid for the CMA. The people that pay the taxpayers out there is going to be paying their tax dollars to defend the CMA for their decision making from Microsoft, because Microsoft is saying, look, this is what we're doing. And that shit ain't fair. That's not fair. You said the EU is November 8th? Okay. So anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming through. I really do appreciate it. Hey, man, like I said, really appreciate all you guys coming through. I just had to get it off my chest. If you haven't checked out GRG Podcast, do that. We come on every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then like all overseas, it's crazy. I know in Mozambique, it's like 2 a.m. So that's it. And I think in Australia, it's like 10 a.m. So I think I know those two. Other than that, well, we had Chris Grindle on, and it was like, I think 1 a.m. I think UK time. So yeah, so come and check us out, man. And if you can't check it out, it's late because we're a late podcast. Check us out later on. But man, check out last week's episode. It was really good. Also, I will get back to the streaming. I haven't. I've been losing my mind playing 2K. And I'm trying to get to that 40. I'm trying to get to the 40 or whatever and try to build up my characters for the rec and all that other stuff. So yeah, but I'm definitely gonna get back to the streaming stuff. Matter of fact, when Gotham Knights come, that's going to be my first single player game that I'm going to stream. So I hope you guys come and check that out. And then lastly, the Devin the Gamer will be back next week. And then the next podcast on Xbox 448's channel, man. So I really do appreciate you guys coming through. Everybody else have a good one. Peace. Now I got to hit the right button. All right, there.